Is this thing on? This video is about monsters we make. This is a manga made from Corey Kenshin, the man himself from YouTube. And this is his first manga. This is his first thing I ever seen him make outside of doing YouTube videos. If you know who he is, you know that a lot of people were extremely excited to see that he came out and he dropped a manga recently. And I've been reading it. I'm not gonna be tripping over, I'm not gonna be facetious. I'm not gonna be blinded. Is facetious the word? That is not it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna sit here and be like,
oh, this is the best thing ever because it's Corey.
I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna feed you facts. Honestly, mostly opinion. But with that being said, what you can expect from this video is I will be going over spoilers and non-spoilers with the monsters we make. I'm not going to include any of the manga panels. Not a fear of being stricken down, but more so respect to the creator, the creators, those that developed the manga. Obviously, they want you to buy it, see for yourself, so support that man. Yeah, I think it's cool. I'm not jumping off the porch or anything saying like this is the best thing ever, you know what I'm saying? Like this is like,
oh my god,
you gotta go read this now.
like a lot of other people gonna see do that, you know what I'm saying? I don't think it's that. I mean, it's cool. I'm not trying to downplay it because it's very early, you know what I'm saying? Like, and usually animes or mangas, like in my opinion, they usually don't start off like hype, pretty fire or good or anything that you like, oh, you gotta read this. The only one in my mind that has ever did that, I got kids running in their house, so I'm looking all over the place, is Attack on Titan. That was the only anime manga that have ever like hooked me straight off the rip, and I was like, yo, you gotta watch this, you gotta watch this, you gotta read this. Actually dragged me into just hypnosis. It's slight spoilers. I don't want to, like I said, ruin it for anyone. I'm very on like, yo man, I hate spoilers, hate them. So I'm just gonna give y'all a warning when I start talking about that. I don't have any major negatives, honestly. I have a few like super nitpicks I'll talk about in the spoiler section. But yeah, if I had to compare what this manga is, or this story in general, it'll be more like My Hero, like a slightly more complex My Hero, and the mystery of Attack on Titan, but not as strong. You know what I'm saying? It is its own thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, but when you read it, it does come off as like it's kind of shonen, like, you know what I'm saying? Like we've seen some of this stuff kind of before, but it does have its own takes on things. This is just the first volume. Real early, like I said before. Dragon Ball got what, 42 volumes, and then Attack on Titan got 34. So maybe like 4% of the story was covered in this volume. Maybe. We don't know how many volumes he's doing. But if he getting happy and he like what's going on, he love doing it, it's gonna take about 10 years to finish. We ain't get too far into the story. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it's the beginning of the story. You won't get too much. You won't see like the motivations of the characters and stuff like that. But you could probably figure out where the story is gonna go in a bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could probably guess, like, okay, I can see why this happens. You know what I'm saying? And I'll get more into that into the spoilers. It's more so of a theory, but I can't. Spoilers. Which honestly, we just might as well just go ahead and get into it. So spoiler warning, slight spoiler warning, very slight. Like, I'm not finna talk about major stuff, but story, setting, characters. Story, nothing bad there. It starts off kind of showing like, hey, who these monsters are. You could kind of determine if you know who Corey is. He's a very positive guy. Even in his video, he was saying like he would want this story to be positive. It has its dark moments involved in this volume, but I think you could kind of guess where it's going. This is literally like the first couple of pages or whatever, but they go in, these kids go in, they're obviously a part of a group looking for something, and they ended up dying from this monster. This monster was a human, and he read something negative, and then he just became this monster. You see this twice in the story, or in this volume. You could pretty much garner, I mean, then if you look at the title of the book, you pretty much gain like, okay, at the very least, you could know that these monsters are created by these people. You know what I'm saying? Like the people, like people treat people horribly, and that turns them into a monster. And if you kind of look at it in reality, that's kind of the same way we are here, especially in America. But I mean, this happens everywhere. But you get treated like crap, and then like you end up treating other people like crap, and then it kind of keeps going, you know what I'm saying? And that's just kind of how life is. And I think the manga is gonna expand on that a lot and focus on that. Now there is still more things in the story that we don't know pretty much at all. You know, you got the dean of the school. She's obviously like malicious in a way. She kind of just throws the main character into this team. But like, if you really want success, you probably do a better integration of it. Like, Kid just got there and he's already fighting monsters. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if it's a part of the story that will kind of like expand on that and make it make more sense. But right now, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me on why you would do something like that. So I think it kind of feels a bit rushed in that sense. Like I said, I don't know if it's on purpose. It's the first volume, but I was like, man, that's kind of rushed. Like, he just got there. We didn't really get to know much about him. And we'll talk about him in a second. Yeah, I think that part was a little bit rushed for sure. Like I said, I don't know if it's on purpose, but yeah, I think so far the story is interesting. Obviously the monster thing is very predictable. But like I said, you still got the corporation that is over the city, and then you got the school, the dean. Like, what are their motivations? We don't really got that. We don't. And then like we don't know where the characters get their powers from. But yeah, that's as far as I'm gonna go. Obviously read it if you want to know more about that. But the setting is really cool. I have nothing. They didn't go too deep into the setting. They did talk about like this event that happened, which he mentioned in his video. This event that happened that pretty much caused like chaos in a sense, and it changed the world forever and stuff like that. Now, it wasn't a long event either. It was like 2 weeks. But what was interesting is that we find out that the main character and his friends, whatever, quote unquote, they happen to be born in that time. That's about as much as we get as far as like linking the event with them and like what's going on with them. But just to think, like, they said that lights went out in this event. That's all they expanded on. Like, the lights was out. They had nothing, right? And I just went through Hurricane Helene, and that took about 2 weeks to get as close as normal as possible. Now, we did have like a moment where it was like straight darkness for like 4 days, and it was chaos. People were like cutting lines, shooting, stealing. There was no gas. You couldn't get anywhere. You couldn't leave because there's nowhere to leave. Like, everywhere you would go, they're like hundreds of miles out. Nothing, just lights out, right? Barely any food, water. We're like trying to help each other and tear each other apart at the same time. So it'll be interesting how deep they go into that. But I find that very interesting and relatable. Like, like if you've never been in a hurricane and it's been out of stuff for like multiple days and like hundreds of miles out, you still can't find nothing. It's actually really scary. I ain't even gonna hold you. Like, if you got kids especially, bro, like, dang, like, you really gotta go out there and like make something happen. You might have to kill somebody. no cap, bro. You might have to put somebody down. I also like the cyberpunk setting. Huge fan of Cyberpunk 2077. So the city that they're in is very cyberpunkish, very futuristic in a sense. Like, this is the last remaining big city. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I liked everything about that. Not too much to talk about that. They haven't went too far in it, but I'm interested. Now the characters. I think the characters is where, to me, right now is probably the weakest in a sense. I'm not saying it's bad, but in my opinion, I mean, we just met these guys, you know what I'm saying? We don't know much about them. So I can't really be too hard on them. It's just that they were just kind of thrown in and introduced really quickly, and we'll probably get to know more of them in the second volume, which I assume, but we don't get to know much about them in this volume. Even the main character, you know what I'm saying? Like, he kind of just we meet him and we find out certain things about him, which is cool, I like certain things. I like his ability. I like how it kind of coincides with culture. Wink, wink. I can't wink that well. Tripping. I got my 2 nitpicks right here. All right. Well, 3. 1, I feel like the introduction to the characters were very like kind of rushed in a sense. Like we didn't learn much about them. But like I said, I think that's going to happen probably in the second volume. The second nitpick is the main character. I think he could be kind of annoying in a sense that like he's very braggadocious. Like he is extremely arrogant. And then like he meets this other character who's also a hothead, but she's more of a hothead than him. So they bump heads like almost immediately, and they just constantly like bickering, and they just got there. And I get obviously 2 hotheads are gonna bump heads, you know, but he just doesn't like chill, bro. He's like he's like, I'm the best, I could do it. Oh yeah. I did like this one statement he said. He's like, I'm tired of everybody trying to pretty much tune himself down just so he could just be normal or with everybody else. He's like, nah, I'm gonna be the best I can be regardless of what anybody say. I like that. Fire. But like he will talk about it. He will not be quiet, bro. Like I'm like, bro, I get it. And this is volume 1. That's a nitpick though. It's a nitpick. I just think it's a little bit too much bragging. Like he's like, where's the humble? Like he's like, no, none, bro. Ain't zero humbleness here, bro. But he comes around a little bit towards the end. That's why I think like the second volume would probably do better for him. Like that's why I say it's a nitpick. You know what I'm saying? It's the first volume, so we don't get, you know, too much. But yeah, I think like, yo, bro, you gotta calm down a little bit. Like every scene he's in, he's like, I'm still in the show. I don't care what nobody got to say. I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm the best. Woo, Lord. Third nitpick, and this is a very nitpick. So he meets this character named Liam. Now, Liam, he's got like the coolest technique. I always like characters with this technique that he has. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. It's super cool. But he has a lot. I mean, and here's a prediction. He has he has the opportunity to pretty much be an anti-hero. He gives off that in a sense because he's so cool in his power, you know. And maybe he knows something that other people don't. That's kind of why he is the way he is. Even though they didn't show much, but I don't know. I got a feeling he might not be 100% who he lead himself to be with everybody. Especially when you think about like how he runs the school. But I don't know. He might be cool. I like it. Anyways, he meets his character, Liam. And the introduction was cool. It was kind of awkward. But one thing they didn't do, he never said his name to the main character. And like later down in the story, he's like, what's up with Liam? Pretty much. I'm like, he never told you his name. We never heard his name until like that moment. So I was like, that might have been a missed up. You know what I'm saying? I don't like, maybe they missed to like him to say, hey, my name is, you know what I'm saying? Or like, hey, his name is. It was none of that. It was just like, I could have missed it, but I'm pretty sure I went back. I was like, bro, he never said his name. But I mean, and we could chalk it up to, if we really wanted to kind of be like speculators, we could chop it up to the main character's ability to hear. He has an ability to kind of like hear things. That's all, and he can kind of hear things that he's not supposed to hear, like he's far away, or I don't know if it's like he can read people's minds, but I don't think that's it. I think he can just hear what people say, and he doesn't necessarily have to be there to hear it. You'll read it and you'll learn more about it, and they don't explain it, but they honestly, I don't like they explain everything. But anyways, he could have heard his name in that sense, and we could chalk it up to that, but I don't know. If you read it, even like they got the bubbles of the thoughts, and the bubbles don't even say his name there either. So hey, you could have missed some, Corey. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, yeah, I think that's really it, man. Solid volume. Interested to read more. Kind of selfish. I kind of wanted to like release like 5 volumes, bro, so we can see what's going on, bro. I want to make sure I'm investing in something I really want to invest my time in. I don't want to do its and bits and I'm waiting. That's just me being selfish, bro. Shout out to Corey though for doing something like this, man. Really inspirational. I'm very like wanted to touch into my creativity, and I think I'm getting there. I put a lot of time into just being like successful in my job that I work for somebody else, but not really time into doing what I want to do or anything that I find interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't ever try to perfect my craft or anything. I just like, well, let me just go to school and get my degree. Let me go to work, make sure I do right. Now I put all the time into that instead of putting my time into something that I actually love to do. Shout out to him, man. He's very inspirational. He's kind of inspiring me to kind of want to step up my game and do something else. Not saying I'm gonna write a manga or something, but I do want to write a story. I always wanted to write a book. Yeah. We'll see, man. I just gotta keep this money flowing so I can get these kids growing up. But yeah, man, that's it. That's a review, man. And until next time, I'm curious what y'all think, man. I'm gonna be checking out people. I'm curious. I want to hear actual thoughts. I don't want to hear no glazing. Quit it, bro. Stop, bro. Free thinker. Anyways, I'll catch y'all later.